Hello there and welcome again to our program Slow Flow. This is our midweek edition of the program, and if I may, I would like you to join us in what I may call a very spirited edition of the program, Wednesday being a mercantile day. And so we have a very beautiful guest again, another friend in the house who is going to be talking to us about a deluge of issues. But first, let me have the pleasure in joining us on this program, our dear friend, a barrister, an activist also, a businessman, and a far-thinking young Nigerian. Mr. OPE BANWO, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you, to be here.
Thank you. OPE and I, we've had some, well, maybe I should just keep that under the hat since I'm wearing one today. But we'll get to talk about that later. But let me just start quickly. OPE, you seem to be a man of many parts. Okay,
that's
so
correct.
Which one is the dearest and the closest to your heart?
Well, it depends on how you want to define closest. If you are talking in terms of how I make my daily living, or in terms of what I like to do for society, they are two different things. In terms of being dear to my heart, as far as my societal responsibilities are concerned, is the ombudsman platform that I feel, the market ombudsman that I set up a couple of years ago. And of course, like everybody knows, I'm a lawyer. That's how I make my living. But my heart basically is in helping to redress some of the issues in the country, and then I have a very big heart for the youths of our country. I feel that they represent the future. We might have given up on some of the old ones, but the youths still have a very big chance of making a very big difference. That's why I start a lot of projects to deal with the youths, and most of them I fund myself. I really don't, I'm not good at looking for sponsors yet, but no complaints.
Okay, all right, that's beautiful. I think that encapsulates what this discussion should be. I mean, should be directed at.
Yes.
Youth empowerment, youth development, and all that. Because you yourself, as a young person, you were an early achiever.
You keep calling me a young guy.
Well, because I'm older than you are.
Okay.
Let me enjoy that privilege,
yes,
at least, for knowing that.
Okay.
Yes, because you are an early achiever. You came out with a second-class upper from the University of Ife in law. And soon after that, you picked up your master's degree. While you are still doing that, you were also a management training student with Arthur Anderson. Arthur Anderson used to be a gold mine, you know, for training Nigerians. But unfortunately, I found that at the time you came out and you were into business, a lot of businesses failed in Nigeria. You know, at that time, what would be your prognosis for that?
You are talking about the meltdown of '92. Wow, I think incidentally I was one of those guys who also had his business failed, because I owned a finance company then, and I call it failure-driven life. Okay, where failure drives you to get better. But if we had to go to what caused it then, I think in as much as we all like to knock Babangida, it's probably one of the good things he did. He liberated the youths. I mean, I was barely 23, 24. When I made my first millions, and it couldn't have happened without the deregulation that Babangida did at that time. For those of us who remember, yes, he did devalue the naira, but he liberalized a lot of things. Where it now made it possible for young guys like me to be able to start our own bank, to be able to start our own finance company. And I think a lot of us, you said something about Arthur Anderson, don't even go there. I think they're probably the best thing that ever happened to this country when it comes to training professionals, and they still are. Okay, they might have broken up into two now. Maybe the name is not as prominent because now they bear a different name. But the point is, they trained us, and they trained many like me. Some of them, many of us are in big positions of power now. Some of us own banks, some of us are ministers, and so everybody went out there. In fact, the idea is that if you are not out there doing your own thing in 1990, 91, that means you are not good enough. Okay, that is the impression then. And because so many people went out to strike their own, some of us were young, okay, many things that we'll do different today, okay, we didn't know better. What am I going to do? I'm 23, I'm making millions. What do you think I'm going to do with it? Okay, and there are many like that. Okay, I'm talking the professionals who even try to do good. The right thing. There are some who actually came to just steal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about professionals who meant well, who are trained well, people like us who got good training, and we came, but because of our youths too, we made some major mistakes. And of course, all it takes is for one person to go down like Forum did, and then the House of Cards went down, and a lot of people failed. But I still consider that period probably the best period of my life, because it molded me. I knew a lot about life, what I had to go through after losing everything that I made. the back and forth between police arrest you today, you arrest another person tomorrow, it toughened me for life. I was very young, so I could get over it. Some people couldn't. So to me, those were the golden age of Nigeria. Somebody has to write a book about that. Maybe I will do it.
Exactly, because that actually takes me to the very next point.
Yes.
You have authored about 8 books so far.
Yes, 12 actually.
12 actually.
Yes.
By my own last count, maybe
yes.
I didn't actually add up the rest.
Yes.
Okay, and for a largely non-reading community like Nigeria,
yes,
how much impact with those books make, or how do you? Okay, let me be fair to you.
Okay.
How impactful do you think those books are?
Well, first, I started writing books outside this country. I remember I went to the US in 1995. I've been there. My family is still there. While I was there, I know I could write, and there are so many things to write about. Okay, and but for a Nigerian culture that we say there is not a reading culture, I'm not even sure how true that is. It depends on the section of the population you are referring to. Okay, if you are referring to the under 30s, okay, the orientation right now is not to read books. Most things are media. They don't have the patience, they don't have the time, and you have to engage them on that level. Some of them will not buy the books, and I'll give you a very good example. I wrote a book in 2003, actually my second book. It was a Christian book. Then I was pastoring in Redeem. It's called Overcoming the Gideon Complex. Okay, that book, I sell it offline for 500 naira, 750 naira. I wasn't selling much, even though, of course, my father and the Lord then brought me from the US to do a tour of the Redeemed churches to talk about the book, because it tells about how youths can liberate themselves from inferiority complex and fulfill their destiny using Gideon as a case study. So overcoming the Gideon complex. But something strange happened. That book, I retired it back in 2004, 2005, because I just write these books. I wasn't doing it mostly for commercial. I've never launched a book, even though I've written plenty. I've never had a book launching. It's ready. I start giving it out most times and sell it. But 3 years ago, I started selling that same book on the internet. Okay, put it on clickbank.com, which are some of the things that led me to this Internet Millionaires workshop that I'm doing for youths now. And I'm selling the book $47. Okay, that's like 7,000 naira. And on a monthly basis now, maybe on a bad month, maybe I sell like 20, 30. Some months I sell 100. And I'm not really actively promoting it. Some people in Nigeria have bought it. Okay, those who have access to credit card, they call me. Yeah. Now, what we are finding is that the youths might not go to the store and buy books, but they will read it online as an ebook. So, which means those who write books, those who want to reach the youths, you need to change your orientation. Things are moving. You can't keep doing the old way. You got to move online and then engage them there. And you'll be surprised that it's actually more profitable online, because I have no printing cost anymore. I'll just upload a file. You pay me $47, $37, $27, depending on which site to find that book. I sell it 3 different prices, 3 different sites, and everybody's happy. And you're happy, and you're smiling to the bank. Now, yeah. Well, okay, I'm glad to hear that. Yes. There is an adjunct to that I would like to take on, maybe later on in the course of our discussion. Okay. And that is, how ready is the Nigerian legal system for the digital technology? You know, it's a little bit worrisome for me, but we'll come back to that. Let's leave that for now. Let's look at this issue of, now that we know that we can get the youth, you know, creatively engaged online. Yes.
So how is that to do with your there's a program you call Stingomania 360? What's that about?
Stingomania is an entertainment company.
Okay.
The program is called Internet Millionaires Workshop. Okay. What I do is a free service. If I had a first presentation of it, it's an old days course where we are trying to teach youths how to make money online legitimately. There are people in this country. Not 419 business. No. There are people in this country who are making millions, and I'm not joking. I could even give you some very known. Many people have heard of Bella Niger. They've heard of Linda Ikeji, but they have no idea how many millions those people are making every month with just one blog, a one-page blog. It's not even a website. So a lot of people don't even have a clue about how much they can make. Instead of complaining about joblessness, complaining about Jonathan not providing jobs, if they can figure out how to make money online, then we will have less stress in society. For instance, there's what they call affiliate marketing. Anybody can do that. You do it with zero income, with zero investment. Okay. All you need is the knowledge of what to do out there. Okay. For instance, I'm holding this iPhone now. People don't understand that this iPhone has what is called affiliate marketing. Okay, you go to iPhone, you register for free, and then you promote the link to sell iPhones. Everybody's buying Blackberries. Okay, and every time they buy a Blackberry, you get paid maybe 10 or 15% of the cost of the product.
Sometimes to promote the product.
Yes, sometimes as much as 70%, if it is a digital product. So we feel, and because I'm so passionate, okay, like I said, ask about passion.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer first and foremost. That's where I get my daily bread, and I do good work there. But my heart is with the youths. So I feel that if I can dedicate my life, okay, part of it at least, where I'm running a free workshop, maybe twice a month.
An empowerment program.
Yes, we are doing the next one now at Love Our Globe Ministry somewhere in Festac on the Environmental Day. I think it's the last Saturday of the month. It's free, okay. What we do is we take 7 hours to break down about 12 ways you can make money online.
The internet, okay.
So that people can go there and begin to help themselves, because it's obvious government is not going to solve your problem. Okay. You got to take your own destiny in your own hands.
All right, now let's come home, close to the Nigerian entertainment industry, which is also close to your heart.
Yes.
So, what's your business with Nollywood? How do you want to look at Nollywood? You are not an actor. You are not a producer. You're not a trained television person. So, what are you doing with Nollywood?
I'm just a meddlesome interloper. But actually, I came in contact with Nollywood about 7 years ago. In terms of being involved in it, it's an area that has fascinated me. I see it as a great opportunity for money. Okay, great opportunity for improvement in society. And I have this saying, I always say, forget all this one they are talking about. Nigeria has a bad image. We can change Nigeria's image in 2 years if government can constructively engage Nollywood and they begin to bring. Look, how did America get the impression that they are the best in the world and nobody? In fact, the impression you get about America is that before you even think about doing bad things, the FBI have seen you. They are coming after you until they bomb them in 9/11. How are they able to sell that to us? Through their movies. They sell us the fact that everybody in America is living very well. I know it's not true. They sell you on the fact that everybody in America loves their children, and their children are number one in their lives through the movies they make. So movies as the number one perceptor changers in the world. So all this image of 419 that we have, the federal government can change it overnight by I'm not saying they should go into movie making, but they can constructively engage those who make the movies, okay, and then sponsor movies that will launder the image of Nigeria and provide entertainment. Absolutely. When you get to America now and you talk, or you get to anywhere in Africa even, the first thing they're talking about is juju. Okay, you have your juju because that's what we are selling. So to me, I was fascinated by it. I got involved in it on different levels. I have an entertainment company, managing people like Funke Akindele, some of the top stars, and all that. And I also have a record label which was dedicated to supporting young people, okay, unknown stars. I came in saying my record label is only unknown people I'm going to sign up, even though that backfired on me because I didn't make money. Okay,
we'll come back to that.
All right.
Now, a recent report by CNN actually said, corroborating your position,
yes,
that the Nigerian movie industry is about $250 million annually, and that it churns out about 200 titles, every year. That's from CNN. Anna Goana actually did that report. Now, but so far, Nollywood is still largely a potential, just like most other resources in Nigeria. You say it's viable, it's this, it's that. So why have you not been able to translate that into something more solid, more enduring?
Many things. I'll call it both a failure of government and failure of the practitioners. Everybody's got a part to play. Our government, for instance, their own role. I'm not of the view that government should be spending money helping me to produce. Okay, I'm a producer. I go raise my money, take my chances, take my risk, make money or lose money. All right, but government needs to provide the enabling environment. Okay, like for instance, a film village. Okay, where people can have access to make quality movies. They have it in Hollywood. Yeah, we are not at American level yet, but they have it also in India. Okay, they need the distribution structure, because what has killed us is distribution. I was very, very passionate about that. I've cooled down a bit because I realized that there is no point hitting your head against the wall. Take another direction, go after the youth, train them. But I strongly believe the reason why you see some of our great actors, producers and stuff not doing well financially is because we don't have an enduring, or what I call a distribution system that can maximize return on investment. If you make a movie in Nigeria today and spend over 5 million, you're going to lose money 99% of the time. Anybody can tell you whatever. I've done it both sides. I spent 20 million on that grain. Okay, I didn't make 5 million. So I know. Okay, why is that? Because the ways of monetizing your product is very limited now. People make a movie, they put it out there, it's only the shelf life is maybe 1 month and it's dead. Why? Because we don't have a sound distribution system. The guy at Census Board is doing a great job. See, people vilify him, but the man is started from zero. Emeka Mba started from zero, is trying to do his best, and then he's facing the biggest opposition from people that he's supposed to help. So he cooled off too himself. So we have a lot of, we've not taken what I call a holistic approach
an industry-wide approach.
Yes, industry-wide approach. Government comes in and turns it to a political thing. Okay, Mr. President comes up and say, I'm giving $200 million to Nollywood. Number one, the way he announced it almost sounds as if he's dashing people the money. Okay, which is not the case. Okay, which should not be the case. Okay, but then the structure, if you are saying I want to help, okay, I want to calm down now because I'm getting a bit passionate here. I want to be very dispassionate here. Some of the problems of the movie practitioners is that they don't have access to capital.
One.
Okay, government tried to solve that. They say, okay, we're going to put $200 million investment in Nollywood. Now they announced that at the political rally. Everybody went wild. Everybody thought the money, they just go and line up and carry their Ghana must go and start collecting money. It turned out that it's not so. Now they've given the money to 2 different banks, an Exim and this other bank to administer. But the conditions they are demanding from the practitioners is the same as going to a bank to say you want to borrow money to make a movie. Then it makes nonsense of the whole thing.
Okay.
These people don't have a collateral in the first place. That's why you wanted to solve that problem. So they should have had a more creative approach to disbursing that. The money is still sitting there. They've only given maybe 1 or 2 guys. Doctor, the one about the cure for AIDS has been found in Africa.
Okay.
Tony Abulu, who is not even living in Nigeria, is not a practitioner here. He's the one getting the money, and maybe 1 other guy. All right. The rest of the money is either hanging there or has been shared somewhere, but I think it's still in the bank because people cannot access it.
Okay.
Okay. So there should have been a creative way to disburse that money.
Okay.
People should be able to use their intellectual property as security for the loan.
Okay.
Okay. Why should a Chico Ejiro, for instance, they call him Mr. Prolific, he's got maybe 2,000 movies. Why can't they use those movies as security for the money?
Fund in it.
Yeah, for the fund. So I think so. The implementation of the good intention of Mr. President has been flawed. So he has not helped us. We don't have a governmental, what I call governmental assistance in getting us out there in the world. Okay, take for instance South Africa. Their government sponsored a movie that can compete at the Oscar level. Okay, which one has our government done? Okay, we're talking about getting our movies into the world consciousness at a level that it can be respected. So it should be a partnership between the government and the practitioners.
Now, well, recently there have been a few international collaborations anyway, just following up on what you're saying.
Yes.
But what I'm going to ask you is, from your own experience,
yes,
you know, I haven't been here and been out there,
yes,
you know, and you're of course conscious of how some government have been able to intervene, you know, on behalf of practitioners. Yes. So how easily can we internationalize some of the things, some of the qualities, I mean, materials that we have here in Nigeria? How can we go about it?
I think the major problem is the government. I'm a capitalist without any apologies. Okay, we say straight up, part of our problem in Nigeria is that we don't even know which one we are. Are we capitalists or socialists, or we don't have any ideology? Regulations, rules and regulations are supposed to be driven by the ideology and vision of a country. We don't have a vision. We don't have an ideology. So they come today, they do this. Sometimes they behave as if they are socialist country. Okay. Sometimes they behave as if we are capitalists. Sometimes they behave as if we are a mixture. And there's a dichotomy everywhere. But the point is, government is part of the problem of the entertainment industry today. The less regulation, the better. How do you excuse this elephant in the room that we have to talk about for at least 10 minutes? The issue about NCC, Nigerian Copyright Commission, who woke up one day and said we are going to license only one organization, okay, to collect royalties on all levels of royalty that is created in Nigeria. It is madness. It doesn't make sense. They've been challenged, they've lost court cases, and yet they kept doing it. Okay, now it may surprise you that maybe with the exception of oil, entertainment is probably the greatest potential for money generation in Nigeria. Yeah. Take for instance, we're talking about copyright. A lot of people don't understand that music, there is no reason why any musician who has had a hit in his life, one, should ever be poor again. If it happened in America, it doesn't happen because royalties are paid everywhere. Every hotel is supposed to pay royalty for playing music. Every bank,
We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
I'm sure if Segun Buckner was listening or watching this program, you'll probably be wondering why he's still a very poor person. Well, we're going to be back shortly. Just stay with us. The program is still on. Yeah, you're welcome back. The program is still Closed Flow on NTA, and I have my very close friend here, OPE BANWO, a lawyer, a businessman, and of course, like I said, a visionary young man. He doesn't like the idea of being a young man. That's actually in quote, but I thank God I'm older than him, so I can still lay claim to that. Just before we went for the break, it was actually talking about how we could have turned, you know, the Nigerian entertainment industry around, and I think we're still going to continue with that because there's so much issue that we can look at in that area. Why is Nollywood not an international brand yet? You were saying something about government involvement and governments, you know, and there seems to be some contradiction in that.
In every sane country where entertainment is generating the kind of money is expected, government is not involved. It's a private property right. Okay, when you create a music, you create a movie. This thing that we are doing now, we are creating intellectual property. It's a right as if you built a house, as if you bought a car. All right, it's recognized in the Constitution as such. It's recognized anywhere else in the world as such. So government has no right regulating how you will exercise your property right. They can do stuff for administrative convenience, okay, just to make sure that just like the same way when you buy a car, you have to register it. But won't you be shocked if you go to register a car, they say they won't register it, even though you have your documentations correct. But that's what we are having in terms of property rights in Nigeria. MCSN applied for license to be able to administer their property rights. NCC denied it. They came up and said we are recognizing only one organization who was not even in existence, that's COSON, at the time the rules were published. Okay, they licensed it and they said the other people cannot go and collect their rent. It's really crazy if you look at it. They are saying now, look, if you understand that property right is the same thing as owning a house and owning a car, they've now made a legislation that only one landlord who has one house should collect rent for all the 100 houses. Imagine that there are 100 houses in Nigeria, and that is actually a fact. There is about 90% of musical works in Nigeria today are owned by MCSN, about 10% by COSON. Okay, it's a fact because MCSN represents all the foreign rights that is being used in Nigeria, which form more than 90% of the music played on air. Now, government came forward and said the one with the 10%, COSON, should be the one that will have a right to collect rent for on every copyright in Nigeria. Now, they didn't make a provision about how I'll get my money. I own 90%. MCSN owns 90% of this property. There is no provision for how I get my money. Now, they collected 100 million that they distributed recently. Okay? They distributed it to their members. They didn't give us any part of it. Okay? We've gone to court to challenge that constitution of the Copyright Act, okay, that gives NCC power to license only one person. And Justice Achibong has declared it unconstitutional and awarded 50 million naira damages against NCC. Okay. You would think in a government of laws, these people will understand what is going on and obey the laws. They appealed it, I agree, but until the appeal is decided, that decision is supposed to remain the law. But what did they do? They turned around and rearrested MCSN officials and charged them for operating an illegal society, despite the fact that there's a court judgment. That's what we are facing. So those guys at NCC, the DG, and all the people surrounding him, they are the #1 problem that we have in this country. And anybody who has music that he has created or intellectual property who is not getting blessed by that should go and look for Mr. Efekude or whatever his name is, the DG of NCC. They should call the place and say what's going on. Because now this fight has locked down the country. Hotels are supposed to pay royalty. Banks are supposed to pay. Nightclubs are supposed to pay. Television stations are supposed to pay for every time they play music. Okay? We're talking billions in income being lost every year to the royalty property right owners because of this fight. Because MCSN is fighting COSON now, because we will not relent. We have 11 cases in court and we will not stop until justice is done. Now,
we won't stop until justice is done, but we must find a way to pay the bills of those artists who have their works now being held up somewhere.
I'll provide a solution.
Yeah. So what will be the solution?
The solution right now, see, is not legal. Okay, because we'll be in court for the next 10 years, all right? What we have proposed, which even to an ordinary person, I'm glad Nigerians are listening to this, is that, okay, these people are fighting. I'm the one that should be licensed, I'm the one that should not be licensed. While they are fighting, the people who created those rights are the ones losing. Then why don't you create a super board to collect this royalty?
Okay, for the time being.
For the time being, and then, not even allow both sides to market. It's free market. But so that there is no confusion as far as it concerns NTA. Okay, for instance, NTA is one of the people that has been joined in this issue. I remember we have actually taken you guys to court over this matter. Yeah. And we've taken other people and say, pay regardless of who is licensed. You see, have to pay royalty for playing the music. Right. Anyway, pay that money to this board. And let this board now look at the records and then distribute the money. Okay, whether you license me or not, it's my music. Government cannot dash me my property. Government cannot say I must collect license before I collect my money. Okay, so if you don't want everybody Dick and Harry to operate a collecting society, then get somebody to collect all that money and share it in according to
like another ombudsman anyway.
Yes, that is one option. A second option that has been proposed is for the two bodies to merge. Okay, but when we came to discussion on merging, the guy that has 10% wants to have 70% of the structure, wants to control the MD, wants to control the chairman. Where is that done? So while all that is going on, the poor guy on the street, take a Babane, I'm talking about a relatively unknown artist who just had one hit, okay, with the Omogeto song. But now that gentleman should be at the very minimum, should be getting 2 million naira every month for that one song that he did, but he can't collect it because everything is bogged down. So while government intervention sometimes is necessary, they need to not put themselves in the way of progress. So those people at NCC refuse to see reason, because I don't expect, if you are in the shoes of MCSA, that you're going to say it's okay for them to take your rights away from you, give it to somebody else, and kept arresting you for trying to rent your property.
Now, so at what stage or at what point will the private sector be able to sit down with government and decide on how far government involvement should be in some matters? Because obviously this is like there's a ceiling,
yes,
somewhere that government has broken or has broken through. So at what stage in this relationship should that be established, where government and the private sector can say, okay, look, this is how far you're going to go, then from there we'll take it on from there?
It's at the stage that the people that control us or that rule this country are ready for progress. Okay, if Mr. President really wants progress,
would it be the president or the National Assembly?
National Assembly can do the legislation. Okay, they can pass the law and change the copyright law, but they don't need to change the law. The court has already declared the section unconstitutional. Okay, but let's even assume they challenge that. Of course, NCC will challenge it because it removes that power from them. Okay, but Mr. President can say, look, I don't like what is going on here. All right, let us sit down, get an independent person. Okay, not MCSN, not COSON, not any of us, not even people like me that have been involved in a partisan manner. Get an independent person. What is the way forward here? And then make proposal that is acceptable to everybody. Mr. President can solve this issue in the next 1 week if he is really minded. But we don't think about it. And if that issue is resolved, a lot of unemployment on the street can also be dealt with. We have lots of youths out there who call themselves musicians.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now that will take me straight to the next point. Being an attorney, which you have already established here now, and the fact that you have involvement in entertainment, and you're also a business person. Now, how do we get your market ombudsman, for instance, an initiative that you created,
yes,
to be a part of this kind of discussion that we just held now?
No, that's how we started. In fact, the ombudsman, if you recall, I used to do like a quarterly town hall meeting that I fund for myself. I spent millions doing it because I believed in it. Okay, I started it back in 2009, rent a nice place, and then take a topic and have everybody come in and voice their opinions. And then based on that, we come up with a communique. Okay. Based on what people feel it should be the solution. We did something on banking. Okay, we send it to CBN, send it to the bank, send it to the National Assembly, let them do their own part. Okay, we've done on telecoms, how telecoms take advantage of people and just debit your account and stuff like that. So what I do, I'm just one person. The best I can do is what I'm doing. Organize the Ombudsman Forum, let people come and talk, and then sensitizing people that they have options. You can sue these guys. You can take these guys to court. You can enforce your rights. And for some of them can't afford lawyers, we actually represented them for free. I did that for 3 years. I'm slowing down on that now because I'm getting poorer every day. Okay. So, but at the point of the matter is that these things have to be done. Okay. Just this kind of thing that we are doing, everybody playing their part in sensitizing the people. And I'm glad that is going very advanced now with media. Okay. With social media. I mean, if we are to think back 4 years ago, that judgment in Abuja concerning that guy that stole 32 billion
will have been lost.
Will have been lost, but for social media. So Nigerians are getting aware quietly. And if the government doesn't rise up to the challenge, we will have a Nigerian spring. Okay.
Over this matter.
Over this matter.
All right. Okay. So we're looking forward to Nigerian Spring about Nollywood. But very quickly, you have something here that says to me that Facebook should be an addendum to fanbook.ning.com. Was that a hype or a mission statement?
No, I don't know where you got that. Read it again.
It says to me that you have a website that is called fanbook.ning.com.
Okay, yes.
Which should be, we should precede what Facebook is doing. That Facebook should be an addendum to that.
No. Actually, what I created those, I started those about 3-4 years.
So that was like a hype anyway, really.
No, it's not hype. It's correct, because if you go to niche.com, okay, it's like a Facebook. In fact, it's got all the features of Facebook and more. Facebook does not have group chat where 100 of us can talk at the same time, be seeing ourselves until they just created something now. Niche has that. So I created that fan book concept for our stars who have all these names and are not monetizing it. That if you have your own fan book page where your fans come, they sign in, like a funkeakindele.ning.com, people come in there, they're able to chat, they have all the features of Facebook, they have their own page on your site, just like they have a page on Facebook. Okay, and they can interact with you. And then you can monetize your fame. Okay, you can then market stuff to them, like your T-shirts. And then you can provide value. So that was a business concept I created for the artists way back in 3-4 years ago. But many of them don't get it. You have to understand. Maybe it was an idea that was a bit ahead of its time. Right now, it's excellent, and probably I'm going to revisit it again and try to start working with some of them, because look at it. Okay, the idea I was trying to create is what a Bella Niger has turned to over 10 million naira a month now. Okay, where they have that site. Take a Genevieve Naji, for instance. Before I stopped working on the site, she's got more than 150,000 of her fans that signed up, not followers. Now, follower is Facebook. They signed up to her site. Before they sign up, they have to give their name, their address, their phone number, anything you want. They come there every day to chat with Genevieve. Okay, now that site by now will have developed what they call authority, where people start advertising. Okay, like if you look at a small banner ad on Bella Niger or Linda Ikeji, it goes to about 500,000 naira a month or 300,000 naira a month. She could have had about 10 of those on her site, be making like 4-5 million a month just by having that site. It was an income as a way. We are talking about monetizing beyond just releasing a movie. So we thought that was one of the ways they could do that. But we really didn't get it going because they wanted everything for free. I created the site. I was paying for the hosting. And then, but some of them are not taking serious. Jeremy was good, okay? She took us serious. She was good. But some of these stars thought that they are even doing you a favor by letting you build them a fan book site. And then I just said, what the hell?
Well, okay, that actually brings me to the next issue. We have about, listed on Nollywood, we have over 500 stars, as it were. So if you're going to translate that to what you're talking about, a monetized environment, what are you going to be looking at?
Let me just point something out quickly. Yes, try to take a Genevieve Naji.com fan book, for instance. Let's say she has a fan book. She has 150,000. Okay, by now she will be having people advertising on that site in dollars. Forget Nigerians now. Forget even the Nigerian businesses. There are lots of businesses out there that want to market to Nigerians. Take Jumia.com. Jumia is one of the sites that is spending a lot of money on adverts. You see them everywhere. People don't know that they pay for those adverts. They probably will have been paying a Genevieve maybe $1 million a month, and it's a small banner. She could have up to 10 of that. Go to Bella Niger, all those things on the left and right hand side of her blog. She makes money on them. Some of them as high as 500,000. I've paid for some of these things, so I know they collect the money. 300,000, 200,000.
So maybe what the artists.
So we could be talking billions
for them. But I guess maybe the information is just not getting across. So maybe we need to do more of this town meetings.
Yeah, I'm going to do a different one for creative people, for artists. Because sometimes an idea gets too far ahead of his time. I call it the Dale Plumber syndrome, because in honor of my very first company that I set up in 1987 when I just left school. I just finished my master's and I was out, and I set up a company, me and my best friend. We call it Dale Plumber. Okay, the whole idea is that when you need a plumber, you just call, and we kitted up the plumbers with a fizzy and all of that stuff. But we forgot one very simple thing. We spent all the money, borrowed money from our uncles, but we forgot one simple thing. People don't have phones. So I don't know, call. Only very few people had phones. So I learned something, because 10 years later, somebody is doing that same business in Kano now. And when I ran into him at the airport, it reminded me that he used to be one of my plumbers. Okay, he started way back, and he started the thing in 2004, and his turnover now is over 400 million naira a month.
All right, we failed. Dial a plumber and you make 400 million. OPE BANWO is still here. We're going to be back shortly, so you're still onto the program, and it's close flow. Don't go away, please. Don't leave here. OPE BANWO is still with us in the house. Yes, still the program Close Flow, and I'm flowing very closely with my very good friend, OPE BANWO. I told you he's a barrister, but I think he's more of a businessman than a barrister. I'm not so sure he's done any litigation in his life, but we'll come back to that. Let's closely see how we can turn around 400 million naira from being a plumber. So how can NTA, for instance,
before
make
you spoil my
million?
rep, yeah, I said that you don't think I've done any litigation. Some of the biggest litigations in Nigeria, I've handled them. The very first class action lawsuit in this country, I filed it. So
Beautiful.
don't play.
So we'll talk about it. Okay.
All right, but let's come back to the matter before you spoil my rep. Yeah. Yes. Wait, your question.
I said, how can NTA, for instance,
Yes.
if a plumber can raise 400 million, so how can NTA make money from this kind of thing that you're talking about?
No. Wait, that a plumber. Well, I use that as to talk about a concept that could be too well ahead of its time. Okay, but that the idea of a farm book side is an idea that has come. Let's say NTA now. NTA has got a lot of legacy followers. Forget what people say about all these new age television stations. It is still the granddaddy of them all. Yeah. Okay, so now if they have a blog, okay, people will come to that blog. Let's say, for instance, we have this Close Flow.
Please, would like to just quickly appeal to viewers that they can call the number, on the screen now, so you can engage OPE BANWO, fruitfully in the discussion. Please call us now with that number on the screen, and OPE is here to answer all questions, both on the issues we are talking about here and some other things that you probably want to ask him. Thank you. Please just OPE, go on. Let's
yeah. So assume that this Close Flow, for instance, now if you give me the permission and we agree to share the money 50-50, I can open a blog for this Close Flow. What you have there is you have snippets of people who have appeared on this program every day. You are putting it there, and then you are blogging. You are doing your comment. People are passing their comments on that. If you start this now, you will be in shock. What will happen just 1 week? Because this is going on. People will go to your blog and be posting questions, and from there you have your internet on and you are reading the questions from here. Saying, yeah. After 6 months, what you find out is that you are having now maybe 10, 20,000, 30,000 people visiting that blog every day your program is on. Advertisers, that's what they count. Okay, the reason why they pay money for newspaper is how many. What is your readership? And blogs are better because people stay longer. So what you find out is that in less than 6 months, Close Flow could be having adverts on his blog for as much as 500,000 naira a month for a 250 by 250 pixels, and you can have up to 20 on this side, 20 on this side. Just as a simple thing, you could sell affiliate marketing on that blog.
Thank you. Please don't say too much before my producer begins to think of other things.
Yes, otherwise, it's my copyright. If you do it, I'm going to sue you. We have to do it together.
All right, now, I just barely 25. Yes. If you recall, you were already a CEO of the quoted company of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Yes. Though we have talked about the meltdown at that period. But then, how do you? This is coming straight from my heart.
Yes.
How do you deal with things like security issues in Nigeria? I mean, the Boko Haram, the MENT, with all these beautiful figures you're mentioning, how can we deal with that when such opportunities will be lost because of insecurity?
Well, I think I'm not by any means a security expert. I just look at it as a management problem. If you call me and say, come and solve security problem in Nigeria today, what will I tell you? I may be very well off base because I'm not an expert. But to me, I don't think it's an expert issue. It's a two-issue problem, all right? Number one, I don't think our government is sincere. I don't think they're serious. Boko Haram, these are guys that are supposedly supposed to be literate. Okay, that Boko Haram means no to foreign education. So you can assume that they probably don't have a lot of foreign education themselves. Okay, they're bombing daily, and my government tells me they don't know who they are. We see a couple of them have been arrested in the houses of people in the National Assembly. So I see a conspiracy here. Nobody is talking about it. It's some powerful people in government are the ones behind it. And the people who are supposed to be our guardians are the ones sponsoring it. How is it going to stop? That's number one. But if you now go to the root of the major complaint of the Boko Haram people too, okay, they might be doing it very wrongly. Nobody supports what they are doing. I think they are cowardly by just bombing innocent people. If they have issues, let them come out. Yeah. But the underlying issue that leads people to start bombing themselves has to be addressed. Where there's injustice in the society, okay, where the average person cannot guarantee two basic food items a day, and people are buying private jets. Our government, people going to government with barely 2 million naira in their account. I know some of them personally, okay? And within 6 months of being in government, they are buying houses that are worth 250 million, 300 million naira. Then the issue of insecurity cannot be guaranteed. The reason why you don't have those type of things in America, the people who come to bomb come from outside. They come from Iraq and all that.
Okay.
Is that no matter how bad things are in America, you are still able to
address
the basic issues of survival.
All right. So we are still waiting for a call to come through on that line. The number again is 080-230-49461. And don't forget the program is closed flow. We have a call online now.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. May we have your name, sir?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. We can hear you clearly. Oh, we lost him. I'm sorry about that. We lost him. Well, we'll continue with that again. Now, reflecting on your journey so far, and you being not too young anymore, anyway. But as a people, that is Nigerians. We have another call now. Hello. Good morning. Hello, morning. Can you speak up, please?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. May we have your name, sir?
Program. Hello.
Hello, sir. May we have your name? We lost him again. I think we have a little problem, a little challenge with our network there. But again, I'm saying, let's reflect on our journey so far as a nation. Okay. So what exactly is it that we need to get done and get it done right? I like the youth empowerment thing that you're doing, in which case all the young people can address their minds to how they can, equip themselves to deal with life. Yes. So what else can we do?
The number one issue that we have to resolve.
We have another call. I hope we can get it through this time. Yes. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello.
All right, so I think the first and cardinal thing we have to resolve is issue of leadership. Nigeria's problem is not so insoluble, so intractable that we can't solve it. Nigerians have proven themselves that they can deal with change. I was surprised at some of the things Nigerians have been able to handle. The issue of cashless society, where they say all of a sudden, I thought that could never be implemented in Nigeria, where most people don't have bank accounts. Now we are following it, but our leadership is what keeps letting us down. If we have good leaders that people trust, Nigerians will follow. And as long as Nigerians continue to compromise their own interest by voting in or supporting criminals to come and lead them, they will suffer. I set up an organization called Nigerian Election Vigilantes Organization, NEVO.
We'll come back to the vigilante organization. Yes, we have a caller online. Yes, please.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Please, can you speak up and tell us your name? OPE BANWO is ready to answer your question.
All right, my name is Tasmi Adenyo, and I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
All right, sir. Please, can you address Mr. BANWO?
Yeah, but I just want to find out where exactly the leadership training that the organization holds. I actually want to be a part of it.
All right, the next Internet Millionaires workshop, free workshop that we are doing is going to happen at Love Aglo Ministries. We are partnering with the church to give us the free venue in Festac, 4th Avenue. I think it's 26th of February. It's Saturday, the last Saturday. I can't remember.
Well, I think you're going to run a promo on that before it starts.
If NTA will help me run it, I will run it. I don't have money.
You have to pay NTA
to do pre-service. I don't think so. But we had 180 people the last one we did. We are expecting even more now because it's free. Love Aglo Ministries, 4th Avenue, Festac. On the environmental Saturday, it's 11 to 5. I think it's 26th of February.
The program again is called?
Internet Millionaires Workshop. Learn the 12 different ways you can make money online.
Please, I hope you got that, so you can please keep the information and then make sure that you are there. Now, the other thing I want to ask us here is this. You have talked about the need for leadership and also our own responsibility. Okay, we have another call there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
My name is Peter.
All right, sir. Your question, sir?
Can you hear me?
Your question, sir. We can hear you clearly.
Hello?
We can hear you. What's your question?
I said I want to commend you for the work you are doing. But there's an issue I want to make public here.
Sorry, sir. Your line is breaking. I think we have a problem with the network there. Anyway, but now you already mentioned about the responsibility of also the citizen. I was going to come to that because how deep actually is our democratic practice?
This broke my heart. Okay, I spent maybe roughly 10 million naira on NEVO. Okay, people who are involved in it. I never got sponsored by anybody. I had coordinators all over the country. I inaugurated them in Lagos at Terra Culture. 29 state coordinators is what we signed up. We have thousands of people. I created a platform on social media. and we got like about maybe like 18,000 people registered, and then we monitored this election. Okay. When they had it, I personally traveled around. But what broke my heart is that you will see representatives of politicians. People line up, like in a place like Imo. I was there personally. People line up, the PDP, whatever, and then people come for only 500 naira.
They change their positions.
They change their positions. And that broke my heart, really. So I lost my heart, and I don't want to do it. So
is that poverty or something else?
Yes, it tells us where we are, because it tells about the orientation that we have been forced to, okay, because it's so easy for me to talk all this long English because I can eat. So initially I was very hard on them, but later I began to understand. The typical Nigerian does not believe this politician is going to do anything for them when they get there. The only time they can get any money is during this election time, and they are ready to collect their money. But we need to look beyond our hunger and understand that the man that gives you 500 naira to go and vote for him is going to go and carry 2 billion naira of your money and give it to himself and his family.
Somebody's on the line. Yes. Can we have your name, please? You're on. We lost him again. I think we'll probably also have to take up the issue of communication, because right now we've had about 10 failed calls in less than 5 minutes. I wonder what we can do about that. Now, so let's go on now. Yes. Very quickly. So, what strategies do you think we can use, to make sure that our people are as responsible for the leadership and the government that we actually deserve? Because this is what you have talked about now. It's, well, sufficiently. Yes, we seem to be excusable that because of poverty and this and that. But how can we turn it around that our people can become responsible for the leadership and the government that we have?
When the people have suffered hard enough, they will become responsible for themselves. No, a people decide leadership it gets. Okay, the leaders we have in place now, they are there at our pleasure. Okay, whether they rigged the election or they didn't rig the election, they are there because we want them to be there. If we don't want them to be there, they would not be there. So we deserve them. Okay, so we need to understand that my future and the future of my children are tied to these leaders, and that come the 2015, we don't want any losers, any thieves come and rule us. Until we get to that point, we haven't gotten there yet. All this Arab Spring and code that you are hearing, those guys got to the point where their life is no longer worth living, and then they went on the street. But Nigerians, everybody always says, leave it to God. Your own brother might be get there tomorrow. And then this cycle of poverty and cycle of oppression by our leaders continues. Because how else do you explain a leader that is supposed to go and serve, all right, gets in there, and within 2 years, he has amassed houses in Asokoro, he has amassed houses in Ikoyi, and then, yes, he's telling you he never stole money. Yes, okay. There are some that are rich before they got to power. I don't want to overgeneralize everybody. Yeah. Some have made money before they went in there. But I'm talking about the broke-ass guys who got in there, and then all of a sudden, they have all this money. And, yeah, we keep voting them back. And then we are complaining. Okay, now that actually we drive us to this point where we now ask ourselves. Yes. You're a lawyer yourself. Yes.
This merry-go-round that we are faced, trying to chase corruption out of the system, seem to have been promoted largely by lawyers. This idea of
no. I mean, got me very upset here. What has lawyers own got to do here? Lawyers have it. Just like your job is to run a show. That's your job. Yeah. If I talk any crap I want to talk about here, that's your job. Yeah. All right. The job of a lawyer is to defend his clients. He has to respond. Excuse me. The lawyer is not responsible.
Are selling the country blind?
Excuse me first. That's my job. The job of a driver is to drive me from my house to my office, or to take me in a cab. The job of a lawyer is to defend your constitution guarantees your right to a diligent defense. Lawyers do not do these actions. Lawyers do not steal this money. Lawyers do not do the prosecution. They are not the people that are stealing it. They are the ones do. Now, when you talk about prosecution by itself, it's not lawyers. Okay, no, it's government.
I know.
So why would you blame lawyers?
Mr. Banwo, I'm not asking. I'm only asking you a question.
No,
so
but
don't you think that lawyers
are offended
also,
by that?
Yeah,
why would you say lawyers are the one responsible?
Promoting.
No, they're not promoting.
The merry-go-round.
My job.
The lawyer, for instance, we look at all the loopholes in the law and make sure the man who stole 28 billion can go home with only paying 600,000 naira.
That's his job. It's the job of a judge to make sure that the thief doesn't get away with it. The job of a guy, the Constitution says you are entitled to fair hearing and to a diligent defense. Okay, so you bring your lawyer. Your lawyer can talk all the English he wants, and there are good judges who go beyond all that crap that lawyers are talking. A lawyer's job is to advocate. A judge's job is to judge. No, let me finish that thought.
Okay.
His job is to judge, and Nigerians need to begin to separate. Let's stop looking for the wrong scapegoats. It's not the lawyer's fault. It is the judge of the judge, the fault of the judge, or the prosecutor who comes to court with incomplete documents, or a prosecutor who compromises himself, or a prosecutor who goes and strike a deal for plea bargaining. That is crazy.
All right. Next, we're going to have Mr. OPE BANWO here, but I think we're running short of our time. Okay. We are not closing on a good note. Can I, very quickly, what are you going to vote on today? Eagles taking the win, or Yeshua Mali will transfer?
Eagles all the way. I'm a Nigerian, very patriotic, and we will whoop them 2-0.
Okay, you are putting your money on the line.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on the line.
All right, thank you very much. It's been exciting having OPE BANWO here. He's my very close friend, and it's been a very beautiful flow. Yes, I'm believing that we can do this again, because we still have tons and tons of issues that we'd like to actually, lay our minds upon. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
I want to commend you for the close phone program. It's rare to have a program like this where people can really speak their mind. So I congratulate you on this program, and I look forward to being back.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So let's take a payoff from OPE. What do you say about close flow?
Close flow, yeah. I say, well, about time too. Close flow is a place where you can flow closely on ideas that are strong to your heart, and where you are allowed, despite the fact that you are on NTA, to speak your mind.
Thank you very much. And so, everybody watching, thank you very much. Like we said to you, we're going to be doing this 3 times every week. So join us again on Friday. Good day.